I remember growing up, my dad would sometimes not get home till 8 or 9 o'clock at night, and he worked hard. Every Saturday, he was always gone till at least noon, putting in time and just to get everything, done at the shop, as they called it.
Since Shamrock is locally and family owned, you'll go out into a lot of remodel jobs and they will say, "Oh my gosh, I know Bill Price. He's Shamrock's been there forever," and I get to say, "Well, yeah, that's my grandpa," and that's really humbling for me.
Well, I started out there with Dick Shepard. Dick Shepard and I were good friends. It would have been about 1961. Well, we took and actually built some cabinets and so forth in the old barn that we were working in. And then we went on down to the old Raytown building down there in Raytown. Yeah, now we had a hearse actually that carried bodies around in, but we were carrying cabinets around in it. And so it worked out pretty well for us for a number of years. My dad was a strong personality. He was a big guy. He was instrumental in us getting things done. He had a knowledge of a lot of people. He knew a lot of people in the Kansas City area and so forth. And so he was sort of our sales manager when we first started out. Dan Peachner came in, and that was a good deal. Dan was still in high school. He was in Raytown High School in the nature
What was
of
his
it.
first job, though, you gave him?
Sweeping the floors.
Yeah.
Yeah, he swept the floors, and but then we did have a loft up above, and we ended up doing all of our drawer boxes. We made those all upstairs in that thing, and Dan worked on those things, and we were together what?
I don't know, 50-some years.
Well, in the 1980s and so forth, things were coming along pretty good. We had quite a few builders. Primarily a guy by the name of Charlie Kaler was the biggest builder we had. Charlie was always one to pay me. I needed it every month. And I needed it every week, I'm sorry. I needed it every week. I need to go over to his office and I could get up a check for what I had.
Make payroll.
To make
That's
payroll.
what you were trying to do.
Trying to make payroll. And we're happy that we were able to get through that process because it was a difficult time.
In '96, I started full-time in the shop, and Bill put me out there for a reason, and I'm glad he did, because I had a chip on my shoulder a little bit because I didn't want to be the son-in-law that came in and got handed something. I was able then to watch Bill, who I really admire, and I was able to watch how Bill ran the company, and when he was ready and needed to step back a little bit, I was able to take over as a CEO. Robert, what I call my partner there, Shamrock was his first full-time job and his only job. He is so production-oriented, and he's so good at what he does. And I'd be lost without Robert. I wouldn't trade Robert for anything, not anything.
I remember running around the shop when I was 4 years old, just looking at all the big equipment and thinking, wow, this is really cool. When I graduated from college, they decided to put me on as a project manager here, kind of get to learn another piece of Shamrock, and hopefully if all the stars align, we can get a fourth generation in there.
I have really good memories of my dad, and I'm super proud of him, and I love when people recognize what Shamrock Cabinet is when I mention it, or they see a logo on my shirt or a jacket, and they say, "Oh my gosh, we have Shamrock Cabinets."